Let's talk about the unofficial potential changes to the business manager visa. This isn't a video I particularly want to make for a few reasons. I don't like speculation, I don't like guessing, I don't like theorizing about what will or won't happen, or just adding to the buzzing noise that exists on the internet. I work hard with this channel to only present accurate information along with our personal firsthand experience. I also don't like uncertainty, and with the recent news reports about upcoming potential changes, we are all feeling a lot of uncertainty. So at this point, all we can do is discuss civilly, hope for the best, and keep working very hard for our business and life in Japan. So to start, I'm filming today from our home on Omishima Island, part of the Shimanami Kaido in rural Japan. The mess you see behind me is our 1,000 remaining inventory of honey jars from this year's honey harvest and my shipping department. My husband Evan and I have been operating Benton Homestead, our Kabushiki Gaisha Japanese corporation, for just over 2 years now. We just reached our second business birthday. That includes our honeybee farm, along with Benton Guest House, our Showa-era private full house rental. We started with the startup visa via Imabari City, and our next business manager visa renewal will be coming up soon before the end of the year. Also, sorry about the noise. For those who don't know, it's screaming cicada season in Japan, and there's nothing I can do about it. So moving on to the topic of the video, when the news first broke, I thought for sure that current startup visa and business manager visa holders would not be held to the new requirements at renewal. And again, new requirements are still just speculation. But now after talking to some professionals and hearing their opinions, it's unclear whether or not the pending potential changes will only affect those who apply for visas in the future, or if this will affect us as well. I have 3 tabs open with information to share, which is already available online for you to read yourself. I chose these 3 items because I feel they're the most well-written and potentially accurate. Please take everything in this video as unofficial and speculation, as Japan's immigration has not yet made an official statement, and really that's the only statement that will matter. But for now, let's get into it. The first article that I want to share with you is from the Asahi Shimbun. Again, this is a news article. This is not an official statement from Japan's immigration, but this seems to be one of the articles that really sort of kicked off all of this the past few days. The article is entitled "Japan to Tighten Requirements for Popular Business Manager Visa." The Immigration Services Agency will hike requirements for the business manager visa, which aims to lure entrepreneurs but is accused of setting the bar too low. It will increase the capital requirement to 30 million yen, approximately 203,000 US dollars, up from the 5 million yen at present, and require holders to employ at least 1 full-time worker. It goes on to say the Immigration Services Agency will discuss the changes with a panel of experts this month. It aims to amend the ministerial ordinance and introduce the new requirements within the year. And it says right here, currently the requirements include securing a business office and either having capital of 5 million yen or more, or employing 2 or more full-time staff members. The changes would hike the capital requirements to 30 million yen or more and make it mandatory to hire at least 1 full-time employee. So you see it's going from or to and, as well as increasing the capital and the required business value 6 times. It's going from approximately 35,000 US dollars to 205,000 US dollars. One very important sentence in this story I would like to point out. This is what initially led me to believe that current holders of the startup visa and business manager visa may not be held to whatever criteria changes are on the horizon. It says, for example, holders of two classes of visa, the startup visa and the future creation individual visas, which is I looked it up, it's a very different visa for graduates from prestigious universities. They will be able to transition to the business manager visa under current criteria. So that led me to believe that there may be some sort of exceptions or grandfathering in for people who are already on existing visas. But that's very unclear. Now, I'm not going to read this whole article. It's available online. I'll put the link in the video description so you can go read it yourself. I just wanted to share this as one of the main sources of information for this story. The second article I'd like to go through is from the Japan Remotely blog, who you may be familiar with. This is a well-written wrap-up of the current situation, and it's written sort of in the style that I like to write blogs, so I would like to just read through this. I don't think I could write it better myself, and I do appreciate that they have a list of cited sources at the end of the article. It's called Starting a Business in Japan, Massive Starting Capital Increase Announced for 2025. Let's start here with previous requirements, a manageable starting point. As it stands for the first part of 2025, the business manager visa requires 1. A capital investment of 5 million yen, approximately 35,000 US dollars, or 2 full-time employees. 2. A viable business plan approved by the appropriate Japanese authorities. And 3. A physical office space in Japan. Compared to many other business visa programs globally, Japan's current criteria are relatively accessible. For small business owners or freelancers looking to establish roots in Japan, this visa has become a popular and practical pathway. New full-time employee requirement. In addition to the capital hike, the revised requirements will mandate hiring at least one full-time employee with Japanese citizenship or permanent residency. There will no longer be the previous option of substituting staff with capital investment alone. Why the sudden shift? What's driving this proposed change? Some observers point to underlying cultural and political concerns. Japan's foreign resident population recently surpassed 3.8 million, sparking renewed debate about immigration, national identity, and long-term sustainability. The business manager visa in particular has earned a reputation as a relatively easy path to permanent residency, drawing both praise and scrutiny. Once implemented later in 2025, these reforms will significantly reshape Japan's startup ecosystem, reducing both the volume and diversity of new businesses entering the market. A confusing policy landscape. What makes these potential changes even more puzzling is their timing. In early 2025, Japan expanded its startup visa program nationwide. Well, they're in the process of expanding nationwide. It's set to be complete by the end of 2025 and therefore go into effect fully nationwide at the beginning of 2026. Previously only in select municipalities, this visa now gives aspiring entrepreneurs up to 2 years to prepare for the business manager visa, offering more time and flexibility than ever before. At the same time, Japanese financial regulators pushed banks to allow foreigners to open business accounts without having resided in Japan for 6 months, renewing one of the biggest initial hurdles for non-residents. These measures seem to signal Japan's commitment to welcoming foreign talent and capital, so why pivot now? Back in 2022, the former Prime Minister launched a campaign for a new form of capitalism with a clear focus on boosting startups and innovation. If the government now raises the capital requirement by 600%, it risks contradicting its own pro-business messaging and alienating the very entrepreneurs it set out to attract. I suppose the next two sections are the two main questions on everyone's mind. Is it worth it? And is it too late for a business manager visa in Japan? So, is it worth it? That depends on your goals and resources. The startup visa remains a viable entry route for many. As of May 2024, over 716 individuals had obtained residency through the program. Of these, 359 successfully transitioned to the business manager visa. We are one of those 359. Of course, that also means half did not make it through, whether due to funding issues, shifting priorities, or bureaucratic obstacles. This path isn't guaranteed. However, as the capital threshold increases, achieving the dream may become significantly harder, especially for solo founders and self-backed startup. Is it too late for a business manager visa in Japan? If you're serious about starting a business in Japan, it may be too late to apply under the old system unless you already have a proven business plan, sufficient capital ready, and the process in motion. The 5 million yen requirement will likely end by the end of this year. So although there were no clear answers, I also wanted to share this article because I thought it was a good wrap-up of what the current system is and what the tentative new system will be, and possibly the time frame. Lastly, I wanted to show you an article from a Japanese judicial scrivener. This is not someone that we are connected with at all. Evan found this when searching online. The website will also be in the description below. In checking out his website, you can see that he writes a lot of informational blogs, sharing information about various helpful things for residents residing or looking to move to Japan. So let's see what he has to say. Since late July 2025, rumors have spread rapidly on X, formerly Twitter, and other platforms that the capital requirement for the business manager visa in Japan will be raised to 30 million yen. Until now, the official requirement has been a minimum capital of 5 million yen, so a sudden six-fold increase would have a major impact, not only on foreign entrepreneurs, but also on professionals who support business establishment in Japan. This article summarizes all confirmed information as of August 2025, highlights what remains unconfirmed, and explains the fundamentals of the business manager visa system and the possible implications of the proposed changes. He begins by explaining the business manager visa current requirements, which we've already gone over. The next section, where did the 30 million yen rumor come from? On July 29, 2025, the Tokyo Immigration Bureau reportedly held a closed-door briefing for administrative scriveners, during which the following message was conveyed. We are considering raising the capital requirement for the business manager visa to 30 million yen. If you're unfamiliar, a administrative scrivener and a judicial scrivener, they're like Japanese lawyers who process paperwork and assist with bureaucracy. This information quickly spread via local media as several administrative scriveners shared it on X, creating a stir among professionals and prospective applicants. However, as of August 5, 2025, the situation is as follows. No official announcement from the Ministry of Justice or Immigration Services Agency, no change to the Immigration Control Act or related ordinance, most likely to be introduced as a change in operational guidelines, not a legal amendment. This is very interesting. Therefore, it is not yet confirmed that you must have 30 million yen to apply. This is still at the consideration and internal preparation stage. Yes, it's still potential. Why raise the requirement? The background and purpose. Why would Japan consider raising the capital requirement so drastically? Background issues. Increase in paper companies with no real business operations. Applicants misusing the visa for short-term employment, for example, food service or manual labor, and large-scale applications by brokers and some unscrupulous professionals. So I don't know exactly what that means. I imagine it's just there's various ways that you can misuse the business manager visa. The purpose of the change would be to prevent abuse of the visa system and improve the quality of foreign entrepreneurship, to set a financial threshold that filters out unserious applicants, and to promote trust in the visa system and support only viable business ventures. However, the 30 million yen requirement is quite steep and could become a major barrier, especially for small startups and entrepreneurs in rural areas, such as myself. If the requirement is formally changed to 30 million yen, the impact will be significant. Higher barrier to entry, as many applicants will not be able to raise the required capital. Decline in broker-driven cases. Paper companies, which is what they call like fraudulent companies and fraudulent applications, may decrease. Challenges for rural startups, as regional entrepreneurs and student-led ventures may be affected. And change in support services, as visa consultants will need to focus more on financial planning and feasibility support. So what should applicants do right now? For those currently preparing to apply or planning to start a business in Japan, the big question is, when will the new requirement take effect? So key points as of the time this article was written: no formal announcement or amendment has been made yet. Internal discussions and preparations appear to be underway. A guideline update and stricter reviews may occur within the next few months. Past examples show that immigration offices often tighten screening without legal amendments. That's that interesting thing that we're going to get to here in a minute. Advice for applicants. This is a little scary. If your capital is below 30 million yen, consider alternative visa options. For example, if you have a Japanese spouse, other residency options may be available. If you plan to apply under the 5 million yen rule, act fast. The longer you wait, the higher the risk of facing the new threshold. Even if your company is already established, your application could still be reviewed under new criteria depending on the submission date. That's where it affects us. So, has the stricter reviews already started? As of August 2025, the official capital requirement remains 5 million yen. However, many immigration offices are already conducting stricter reviews in practice. This is good insight. Applications with bare minimum setups, for example, exactly 5 million yen, no staff, or a shared office with other businesses, are more likely to be rejected. Greater emphasis is placed on substance over form. Profit potential, sustainability, and detailed business operations are under scrutiny. That's, I think, what is going to be our saving grace, for example, because we are obviously working very hard. We have more than just a ryokan license Benton guest house. We have our honeybee farm, and we have evidence that we are working hard with the 1,000 jars of honey behind me. Back to the current trends in practice. Among administrative scriveners, many now say just 5 million yen isn't enough anymore. Aim for at least 10 million. Social media posts by professionals also reflect this growing concern. While the legal threshold is still 5 million yen, immigration officers may already be applying stricter internal standards. It is safest to assume that the de facto requirement has already been raised. If you are planning to apply, strengthen your business plan, personnel strategy, and office setup. If possible, increase your capital to 10 million yen or more for higher approval chances. And then he goes on to give a wrap-up. I thought that was really well written, and this article had some insight that we weren't able to find elsewhere online. So I appreciate this write-up and a little bit more professional insight. Those are the 3 articles I wanted to share with you all, and links will be in the description below. Again, I know we're all feeling very uncertain, and we can only hope that there will be some more clarity and guidance from Japan's immigration soon. My current thoughts were mostly reflected and picked up in all 3 of those articles. It seems like a step in the opposite direction from changes made just earlier this year. The Japan Remotely article mentioned that the startup visa has been made more accessible by expanding to nationwide and extended from 6 months to potentially 12, 18, or 24 months. And since the startup visa is the launch pad to the business manager visa, it seems that they expressed that they wanted to make the first step, the startup visa, easier, but the second step, the business manager visa, may very soon become very unattainable for many, especially for those looking to establish businesses in rural countryside areas where investment and income are both significantly lower than the metropolitan areas of Japan. And Japan is also, in the last few years, putting a lot of effort into revitalizing rural population, and they've made a lot of changes to incentivize purchasing and renovating Akiya abandoned properties. So there are some conflicting messages that I think I just need some more time to process and fully understand. I think we can all agree that there's just some conflicting messaging going on. Many of you have already left comments with your thoughts on my YouTube post yesterday. I asked if you wanted a video or a live stream, and a slight majority said video, so that's why I'm recording this today. If you have additional thoughts after reading these 3 articles, or if you have other reputable articles to share, please feel free to share those below. As always, I request that we keep our comments calm and civil, and we keep our speculation to a minimum, despite how much this change could and probably will affect many of our lives and livelihoods and dreams. But the important word there is could. We don't know for certain yet, and we won't know for certain until we hear it directly from Japan's immigration. The thing is that at this point there are way more questions than answers. There's no way of knowing if these changes are only going to affect those who apply for the Startup and Business Manager in the future, or if it will affect current Business Manager visa holders immediately, or if it will affect current Business Manager visa holders at renewal. So there's been some discussion in the comments and in some messaging with people saying, oh, it's definitely not going to affect you guys, it's only going to affect us, oh, my plans are ruined. And at first, honestly, that's what I thought as well. But the thing that I think some people might not understand is that in our instance, with the current regulations, we had the requirement of the 5 million yen initial investment. But that also means that we have to maintain a business with a 5 million yen value, and that has to be documented at each visa renewal. So we no longer have the exact 5 million yen in the bank, so we have to show that we have the equivalent of 5 million yen plus business assets with our renewal. So you can see how if the 5 million yen investment requirement is increased 600% to 30 million yen, then we have to show at our next visa renewal or our visa renewal after that, at some point, are we going to be held to the new requirements and have to have a business with the equivalent in cash plus combined assets of 30 million yen. I feel like I'm rambling here, but do you understand that this is not only unclear for those who are about to apply, but also those of us who are here and living it. So I don't know if I should be encouraging people who are very close to ready to apply. Should you do it now and hurry and get it before the changes take place, and then you'll be grandfathered in at all of your subsequent renewals? Or if you hurry and get it now, well, then your next renewal will be held to the new standards, and I have no idea. So I'm sorry that I don't know what advice to offer people who are just about ready to begin this process. Because if you start now, you might be able to get your paperwork in and receive your startup visa before the new business manager visa changes take effect. And if you remember from the first article, that article said that people who hold a startup business visa will, I don't remember the wording exactly, but will be held to the current standards, not the new standards. But for how long, and is that really true, we don't know. So I can't offer advice because I don't know what it's going to mean for you, and I don't know what it's going to mean for us. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your well wishes and encouragement. Thanks for liking and subscribing and sharing. We are still hoping for the best, and we will keep working towards the future, whatever it holds. In lighter news, please be sure to watch our appearance on NHK, which is coming up soon. We can finally announce the name of the TV show and the broadcast date. They came out and filmed our honeybee harvest a few months back. The segment is called Workpedia, and it's part of a show called Where We Call Home. It will be broadcast on NHK World Japan. That's the channel name, NHK World. And it airs throughout Japan and also globally. I checked in the US, and in some it's available on cable and streaming in the US and other countries, and in parts of the US it's also available just as a free channel. So you might be able to watch it actually broadcast on TV. The broadcast schedule is in Japan's time zone, so if you're watching NHK World Japan in a different time zone, please adjust accordingly. I'll put this down in the description, but it will air Monday, August 11th at 9:30 a.m., 2:30 p.m., 7:30 p.m., and on Tuesday, August 12th at 12:30 in the morning and 6:30 in the morning. So it airs 5 times. Please note that our Workpedia segment is towards the end of the 30-minute episode. So we were told it'll be about 7 minutes at the end of the Where We Call Home TV episode. If you don't have access to the TV station, you can also view it on NHK World Japan's website, and that link is already active with a little sneak peek, so you can go check that out. Time to get back to work.